Okay, now let's move to the continuity of the function. When we're talking about limit, of course, we will talk about the continuity of the function. Okay, what means of the continuity of the function? You want to see either the function is continuous or not. Okay, if we plot the graph on the surface, is it there is a hole on the graph? Okay, if there is a hole on the graph, then we will say that the function is not continuous. Okay, for example, if we have the 2D graph or the function of one variable graph, let's say you have like this. Okay, it's easy for us to see either the function is continuous or not. Okay, let's say we have like this. We have a function, one is like this and one is like this. We can say that this function is not continuous because you can see that there is a disconnected in between of the function. Okay, the disconnection in between of the function. But in surface, we also can check whether the function is continuous or not by looking at a few property or few characteristic which is quite similar to the function with one variable. Okay, a function is continuous at a point A if it does not have a hole or jump. So if you plot or graph the surface, okay, your function of two variables, you plotting or you're graphing, if the graph or the surface that you plot is there is no hole or no jump on the graph, so we call that function as a continuous function of two variables. Okay, but we need to check. So how to check a function f x y is continuous or not at a point A, B? So we need to prove these three conditions. The first one that we need to prove is we need to prove that the value of the function when we substituted the value of a and b, where a and b is actually the independent variable, which is x and y. So you substitute value x and y, you see that either you get the value or not. So you need to have the function of a and b to be defined. Okay, maksudnya you masukkan nilai x and y, function you tu wujud ataupun tidak, can be defined or cannot be defined. Okay, cannot be defined macam tadilah, if we have 1 over 0, if we have the square root of negative numbers, if we have the ln of 0, ln of negative numbers, so that one is all the function that we cannot define. Okay, so we need to make sure that the function can be defined. Okay, and then we also need to prove that the limit of the function x and y when x and y approaching the value of a and b exists. So how to prove this one is in the previous video that we do before, where we choose two paths. If we substitute the value of a and b inside the function f(x,y), we get 0 over 0, which is undetermined function. Then we need to choose two paths, okay, to show that either this limit is exist or not exist. So the limit need to be exist, the function need to be defined, and we need to show the third condition where the value of the limit and value of the function of a and b is the same, is equal. Then we can conclude that the function is continuous. So we have three conditions here to be proved. Okay, let's say we see the first example here. Determine whether the function f(x,y) equal to x square minus y square over x square plus y square is continuous or not at 0, 0. So this one is your a, this one is your b, okay, or your x and your y. So this one need to be substituted inside your function here. So you need to find what is the value of a, b. Okay, means that the value of x you need to substitute with 0, and the value of y you need to substitute with 0. So when you substitute the value of x and y is equal to 0, okay, 0 square minus 0 square over 0 square plus 0 square is equal to 0 over 0. So 0 over 0 is undefined function. We cannot count. 0 over 0 is not equal to 0. 0 over 8, yes, equal to 0. But 0 over 0 is undetermined function, or we call as undefined. So the first condition is not satisfied. So you not need to check for another condition because the first one is failed already. So when the first one is failed already, so we just conclude that this function is not continuous. It's never be continuous. It's never be continuous. Dia takkan jadi continuous, because dia kalau nak continuous mesti kena fulfill all the condition, all the three. Kalau dah satu pun fail, so you just can conclude that this function is not continuous at point 0, 0, the point that you are given here. Okay, so no need to check for another condition if the first condition is already failed. Okay, so let's see second example. So you need to determine whether f is continuous at point 0, 0 for the function fxy equal to x square minus y square over x square plus y square for xy not equal to 0, and fxy equal to 0 when x and y equal to 0. Means that you have two condition here. Kalau value x and y awak kosong, so the function is 0. Kalau value of x and y awak selain daripada kosong, you need to use this function. So now, your first condition, you need to check your f0, 0. So your f0, 0 is equal to 0. Because your x and y is equal to 0, right? So the function is 0. So this one is defined. This one is defined. Means that you satisfy the first condition. The first condition was fulfilled. Okay, because this is value. 0 is value. 0 over 0 is not value. 0 over 0 is undetermined. Okay, but 0 is a value. So we can conclude that this one is fulfilled. So now we need to move to the second condition, where we need to find the limit of the function fxy when the value of xy approaching 0, 0. Okay, so the first one you can do is you can substitute the value of y equal to 0. Okay, so you substitute this one equal to 0, this one equal to 0, so you will have x square over x square. So x square over x square is equal to 1. So you have the first path, the limit is equal to 1. And for the second path, you can substitute the value of y, the value of x equal to 0. The first one you substitute y equal to 0. Now you substitute x equal to 0. Why this one you can substitute both equal to 0? Because it's not effect. It's not have the same effect. If the previous one that we do before, why we cannot substitute equal to 0? Because we already know. You substitute this one equal to 0, you akan dapat kosong. You substitute this one equal to 0, pun you akan dapat kosong, kerana dia adalah multiplication darab. But this one is not related. X square plus y square, x square minus y square. So we can substitute the value of just now y equal to 0. Now we substitute x equal to 0. So when we substitute x equal to 0, this one will be 0. 0 minus y square will be negative y square. 0 plus y square will be y square. So negative y square divided by y square equal to negative 1. So one path give the limit equal to 1. Another path give the limit equal to negative 1. So, for you to conclude that the limit of the function exists, you need to show that from every path, your limit is equal. Now, from two paths already, your limit is not equal. So, we conclude that the limit is not exist. So, when the limit is not exist, means that your function fxy is not continuous at point 0, 0. Kerana limit tak exist. Nak tunjukkan yang kita punya function tu continuous, yang pertama kena function boleh define, yang kedua limit kena exist, yang ketiga kena tunjuk nilai function dengan nilai limit sama. Sekarang ni yang pertama satisfy, yang kedua pula tak satisfy. So tak perlulah check yang ketiga. Teruslah kita conclude yang kita punya function is not continuous. Alright, tengok example yang ketiga. Determine whether f is continuous at determine whether f is continuous at 0, 0 for the function xy square over x square plus y to the power of 4. Okay, for xy not equal to 0, and for xy equal to 0, this is the function. Okay, class. The first condition that you need to show is you need to find what is the value of f a b. Okay, means you need to substitute the point. This one is the point that you want to check into the function. Okay, so you need to find what is f0, 0. What is the value of f when your x and y is 0? So when your x and y is 0, your f is equal to 0. So this one is defined. So the first condition is fulfilled. Now you need to check for the second condition. For the second condition, you need to check whether the limit of the function fxy when your x and y approaching this value, which is 0, 0, exists. Okay, so to check it exists, you need to choose at least 2 path. Awak kena choose paling tidak pun 2 path. Awak tahu path dia banyak, saya beritahu tadi. Direction boleh datang daripada kiri, daripada kanan, daripada depan, daripada belakang. So banyak pilihan, tapi kita pilih at least 2. Jadi yang pertama, katakanlah kita pilih y equal to 0. So bila kita pilih y equal to 0, okay, bila kita sorry So bila kita pilih y equal to 0, we just need to substitute inside the function the value of y equal to 0. So when you substitute here, x multiplied by 0, you will get, oh, this is wrong. X multiplied by 0, y multiplied by 0, x multiplied by 0, it will be 0, right? It will be 0 here, it's not x. Okay, and then this one is 0, so we have x square in the denominator. So 0 divided by x square is equal to 0. So your first limit is equal to 0. Okay, now you cannot choose the second path as x equal to 0. The first path you choose y equal to 0 kan. So tadi kita choose yang pertama y equal to 0, and then yang second kita choose x equal to 0. But now you cannot choose x equal to 0. Kerana apa? Kerana kalau kita choose x equal to 0, dia akan jadi benda yang sama. Dekat atas ni darab, you akan sure dapat kosong juga, sebabnya atas ni kosong. Betul tak? Kalau kita darab kan, kita tukar. Yang ni kita tukar y equal to 0, so kita dapat kosong kat atas. Kalau kita tukar x equal to 0, kita akan dapat benda yang sama because of the function. So you cannot choose x equal to 0. Kalau you choose x equal to 0, you will get equal to 0. Adakah you akan conclude yang you punya limit exist? No, you cannot conclude because we need to check semua path. Jadi kita kena cari path yang dapat buktikan bahawa limit tu tak exist. So path ni adalah untuk buktikan limit tak exist, bukan untuk buktikan limit exist. Kerana path ni terlalu banyak untuk kita check. Jadi kita kena cari yang mana path yang boleh buktikan limit kita tak exist. Jadi kita try yang mana yang boleh simplifykan kita punya yang boleh simplifykan kita punya equation ni. Jadi kalau awak tengok dekat sini, ni sama function macam tadi. Jadi kita pilih nilai x kita equal to y square. Maksudnya kita nak substitute x kita equal to y square. So when you substitute your x equal to y square, what you will get here is y square multiplied by y square divided by y square plus y4. So you get y4 over 2y4. So you will get 1 over 2. So now the first limit is 0. The second limit is 1 over 2. Is not equal. Means you can conclude that the limit for the function fxy when your xy approaching 0, 0 is not exist. So when the limit not exist, means that the second condition is not fulfilled. So when the second condition is not fulfilled, therefore we conclude that our function fxy is not continuous at 0, 0. Because not continuous, kita kena buktikan semua condition fulfill. Now the second condition is not fulfilled. No need for us to check for the third condition. Alright, tengok soalan yang ini pun not fulfill. So I nak tunjuk satu yang fulfill. Okay, there is one equation yang fulfill. For example, this example. Determine whether f is continuous at 2, -1 for the function fxy equal to ln x plus y over set x. Okay, so the first one, you need to find what is the value of f2 -1. So how to find? Just substitute the value of x with 2, the value of y with -1. So you have ln 2 plus -1 divide by set 2. Okay, so you will get ln 2 minus 1 is ln 1 over set 2. So ln 1 is equal to 0. 0 over set 2 is equal to 0. So this one is defined, means that the first condition is fulfilled. Now you want to check for the second condition, means that we need to find the limit. Okay, the limit of the function ln x plus y divided by set x for x and y approaching 2 and negative 1. So the first thing you need to do is you just need to substitute the value. If you get 0 over 0, then you need to find the path. If you not get 0 over 0, then you continue with the value. Okay, let's say we substitute the value here. Now we get ln 2 plus negative 1 divide by set 2. So we have ln 1 over set 2. So ln 1 over set 2 is equal to 0, means your limit is equal to 0. No need to check for two path, because you only check for path 1 and path 2 when you substitute the value, you get 0 over 0 undetermined. Then you need to find path 1 and path 2. Now when you substitute the value, you not get 0 over 0, but you get 0. So you see here, the first condition is 0, the second condition is 0, and then we check for the third condition. The third condition said that your f2 negative 1 need to be equal with the limit of the function when x, y approaching to negative 1. So your f2 negative 1 is equal to 0, and your limit is equal to 0. So the third condition also fulfilled. Therefore, we can conclude that our function fxy is continuous at xy equal to 2, negative 1. Okay, so kenapa dekat sini saya tak perlu cari path? Kerana bila saya substitute value point yang kita nak ni, kita tak dapat this one. Kalau yang tadi, kan, kita nak cari limit this function kan. Contohnya limit, kita nak cari x, y approaching 0, 1. Okay, approaching 0, 1. Function dia adalah x kuasa 4 bahagi 2 x kuasa 4 tambah y tolak 1 kuasa 2. So saya substitute dulu value x kosong, value y 1. So dekat sini saya dapat kosong kuasa 4 per dengan 2 darab kosong tambah kosong. Okay, 1 tolak 1 kosong, kosong kuasa 2 kosong, this one is kosong. So kita dapat kosong over kosong. So bila awak dapat kosong over kosong, this one is undetermined coefficient. So you need to move to path 1 and path 2 untuk cari limit. Tapi bila kita masukkan nilai, kita tak dapat 0 over 0, kita tak perlulah buat path 1, path 2. Kita just ambil value yang kita dapat ni. Okay, kita substitute value, kita ambil je lah value yang kita dapat ni. So inilah dia nilai limit dia. Path 1 and path 2 digunakan untuk cari limit bila kita dapat this undetermined coefficient. Okay, so this one is to check whether the function is continuous or not. So you can try this example and also okay, this example lah, satu example ni yang saya akan bagi dalam nota. Okay, cuba buat, tengok, check whether the function is continuous or not at the given value of x and y. Okay, thank you class. Jumpa hari Khamis insyaAllah recording yang lain. Okay, so kalau ada apa-apa yang tak faham, boleh terus message saya di Telegram untuk bertanya. So hopefully that everyone can understand, or else we will discuss in our next week class. Okay, so saya akan teruskan dengan video untuk topik yang lain. Okay, I'm sorry for the condition. I'm trying my best to deliver what should I deliver to you all. So I hope you understand. Thank you and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.